Racing Engines, Scott Owens Transmissions, Hutchinson Racing Engines. Special thanks to Luke, Fernandez, and Patty. Racing with the NJBA, a quick eliminator, Notorious Swan.
6:03 with an 8 at 137 miles an hour for Matt Hudson. Be a nice run for him. It's a better run than what he made earlier. He will be your number 4 qualifier right now.
He slowed it by 13 Hun. That was a good job there to take over that number 4 spot.
Absolutely. And there are still 2 qualifying sessions to go tomorrow. Don't forget, right back here, same time that we started today. It'll be the same run order, same everything. But hopefully we see a bunch more. You know, it takes usually a couple of runs for these guys to really get it. But that last qualifying session, usually we do 3 qualifying sessions during our 2-day races throughout the normal season. And that 3rd qualifying session is always spot on. Everybody gets their tune-ups right, and it is awesome. So we should see that tomorrow, the 3rd session of qualifying, and then of course by that 4th session, it's going to be absolutely insane. Now here comes Blown Gas Flats. How about that extra money for Blown Gas Flats this weekend? How cool is that?
Yeah, nice chunk of change putting up by Joe Dutra. $300 going to go to the winner with some Cali Strong gear. A runner-up's going to get an extra $150 with some Cali Strong gear. So compliments to Joe Speed Freak Dutra, Cali Strong. JT Dutra Photo on Instagram and Sports Clothing Company out of Del Mar, California. So kicking in an extra $450 to the effort in the Blown Gas Flat category. Here we got Hair Traeger, Wyatt McAllister coming out of the near lane, the Extreme Motor Oil, Racing Oil, and Fuel, while Blue Moon, Joshua Mockridge, going to be in that left lane. Mockridge, sponsored by Cooper's House of Brewmasters, Red's Livermore Body Shop, Advanced Race Engines. This race is for his son Troy, who was diagnosed with leukemia in September. Special thanks to Rob and Anthony Olgadi, who made this race possible for him. Special thanks to the Westerfields, the Crawfords, the Flemings, and everybody with the NJBA who's helped and supported them throughout the year. So Joshua Mockridge, Blue Moon, alongside the Hair Trigger of Wyatt McAllister. Again, this is one of the toughest categories to run. They're open boats. Got the non-winged machine left. Got the winged machine in the right. They got the 3 pedals.
I need Pro Modified. I need you guys to the end ramp, please. Pro Modified to the end ramp. Alcohol Flats, be on standby. Alcohol Hydro, get them warmed up. Pro Modified, I need you to the end ramp, please. Everybody's chasing Westerfield. 650, 6.6 at 120 miles an hour for Joshua Mockridge. Wyatt McAllister, 641 with a 0 at 130 miles an hour. Nobody catching Westerfield right there. Staying number 6 for Wyatt McAllister and number 7 for Josh Mockridge. A couple of nice runs, man. So smooth and so perfect, just the way that these guys are able, the sheer talent that it takes to drive these boats as good as these guys do is unbelievable.
Yeah, you got to check out these machines when you drop down into the pits. You know, Brian Letterly just stopped by. He was out here, a boat owner, racer extraordinaire. In fact, one of the last times I seen him out here compete, he had a boat. He put a driver in and won the World Finals here at Firebird Lake. But he said, you know, hey, I was over there at the Racers Emergency Support Program. I renewed my membership. How about you? I said, Brian, I'm good. Well, he said, remind everybody out there, it's a great time to renew your membership for the RESP. Great time to throw some money their way. Don't forget they're going to have another 50-50 drawing tomorrow. They got raffles throughout the weekend. They probably got some stuff for sales. Check them out. Located right next to the SDBA event shirt stand. So pick up those event shirts while you can.
If anybody has a 1-inch quarter prop shaft that is 93 inches long, a 1-inch quarter prop shaft that is 93 inches long, Bill Wire is needing one really, really bad. Bill Wire needs a 1-inch quarter prop shaft that is 93 inches long. So if you have one, please go see Bill Wire. The Alcoholic Behavior Pro Outlaw machine needs a 1-inch quarter prop shaft that is 93 inches long. Go see Bill Wire, please. Steve Penberthy and Kelly Reed. Kelly, High Anxiety, the name of the boat out of Hickman, California, in the Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel right-hand lane. Steve Penberthy, the Butcher, over in the left. Kelly Reed still having issues. How about Steve Penberthy? 6:14.5, 127 miles an hour, and he will be your number 3 qualifier. That's a really nice run for Penberthy and the Butcher team. But Kelly still having trouble out of that high anxiety hot rod. 12:16, 54 miles an hour. Everything looked to be going good, and then all of a sudden, nothing. So I really, really hope that they get the demons fought out of that thing and get it running really good.
Almost normal. Jerry Yerricks coming out of that near lane. The Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel side of the racetrack. Magnolia, Texas, the base of Jerry Yerricks. Sponsored by L&N Landscaping, Bill Diaz, Dave Conley, Joe Mack, Lou Larson, beautiful wife Beverly Barter. Special thanks to Fast Track and Isco Generator. Drag This, Tom Riggs. Tom Riggs. Pete Fleming Racing and TPC Plumbing with Michelle, Tyler, Jenny, and Scott on the crew. Here you're looking at the number 4 and number 11 qualifiers. Drag This, Tom Riggs ran a 6:20.
Out of the throttle for Tom Riggs. Gary, 6:73.0 at 131 miles an hour, picked it up by a few tenths of a second. He will gain 1 position in qualifying as Tom Riggs coasts his way across the finish line at a 20-second elapsed time at only 29 miles an hour, something obviously happening not far past the timing clock. Tom Riggs will stay number 4. 6:20 was a pretty good run by him a while ago, and Gary will go up tonight.
You know, I'm sure they're quite excited ripping off a 6:20 earlier today, hoping to improve on that, but it's a good solid run, and then all of a sudden just had his problems. But he has 2 more shots tomorrow. Everybody looking at that Shane Westerfield, man, put down at 6:07. I got a feeling we're going to get a close look up close. He's going to be running out of that right lane. He's going to be coming up next.
Yeah, speaking of Shane Westerfield, and speaking of GW Golf, how about this for a little grudge race in qualifying? Shane Westerfield in the right side, GW Golf in the left. This is going to be really good. Yeah, that's what I thought. Shane Westerfield on the right side and GW Golf. GW driving for Matt Brown, the boat called Bottled Hell. Generator Supercenter, left-hand side out of Catoosa, Oklahoma. Of course, Matt stationed out right here in Arizona. And Shane Westerfield, Blown Smoke, over in the Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel right-hand lane out of Fullerton, California. The Westerfield Motorsports Lucas Oil, CP Carrillo, Long Beach House of Power, and the crew of Little Tom, Cliff, Frank, Andy, Cole, and Cora. Westerfield, current number 1 qualifier, 6:07, and GW Golf, number 2 qualifier at 6:14. So 700ths of a second separate them. And I'm sure that there's a little bit of, something on the side, a couple of bucks here and there, because GW, I know how competitive GW is, and obviously we know how competitive Shane Westerfield is. So there's definitely some skin in the game on this one, even though it's just a qualifying attempt. There's some extra skin in the game here.
I was watching him as he got the vehicle tech yesterday. I said, man, it looks good. He goes, it's just an old truck motor. Yeah, right. Number 1 qualifier in the right, Shane Westerfield, GW Golf, your number 2 qualifier.
First time that Blown Gas Flat has been contested at a Southern Drag Boat Association sanctioned event, and we are loving it. Here we go. Countdown is over. Well, the nose of the boat never did get up like GW wanted, but how about 6:05 with an 8? 140 miles an hour. GW Golf takes over the number 1 spot from Shane Westerfield. Shane goes 6:22 to 115, and GW knocks him down to second. GW, I'm telling you, you saw it too. The nose never really flew up there like GW normally flies the nose of that thing, and I was thinking surely that was going to slow it down, but 6:05.8, 140 miles an hour, and GW is your number 1 qualifier and Blown Gas Flat as of right now.
And actually, looking at the incrementals down the racetrack, it was Shane Westerfield really making hay as he was going down the racetrack. He had GW Golf beat at every incremental mark, but when they hit that 875, that's when he started fading. Yep. You could see his mile an hour dropping to 115. So Shane Westerfield was really on a hot run there, but hey, Bottled Hell, GW Golf, had a hotter run.
Oh, that was probably a 599 6 flat right there from Shane Westerfield. But GW, Shane just couldn't hold it on.
So he's just seen Shane Westerfield run out of that right lane. Here's the classical Steve Westerfield. Rex, Kaylee, Cora, Joey, and Rochelle helping him out of Lake Forest, California. TR4 hull, 509 cubic inch Chevrolet, Flat Cook, and Ron Cook. Sean Giroux, the owner of the machine. Giroux Boats, Rex Hutchinson Racing Engines, Benkins Prox, Bergeron Engineering, Joe Martin Marine. Daryl, Frank, Larry, Gil, and Jeff on the crew of the Flat Cooking machine, Ron Cook. So it's Cook, it's Westerfield. Here you're looking at 14 and number 10 qualifier.
Ron Cook, how about that run? 6:26.1, 121 miles an hour for the number 6 qualifying spot. Steve Westerfield, 688.4 at 129. And that will be better than his run from earlier, but it will not be better than 11th best so far here in Blown Gas Flat.
Hey, you know, if anybody out there finds any items, you can bring them here to the timing and scoring. So, again, if you find keys or driver's licenses, binoculars, man bags, purses, yeah, shoes. Shoes. How many pair of shoes did you bring with you, Colton, by the way?
One.
One. Okay.
Yeah, like I was going to bring tennis shoes and I was going to dress, you know, a little bit more professional, but I completely ran off and left them.
Well, that's what you said. You wanted to wear slacks, but then when you realized you only had flip-flops, you
yeah,
thought
that wouldn't look very professional now, would it? Slacks with flip-flops.
Close to California. That would go over big, man. Here's Flat Confused, Joe Martin. Blown Gas Flats, who just ran that, and I believe no.
Jeff Martin and Joe Martin. We'll let go of the rope. Ooh. Oh, man. Skid marks on the bottom of the boat and in the bottom of the seat. Joe Martin, what a wild ride. But 585 with an 8. How about Jeff Martin and the Cherry Pie going to the number 1 spot? 585.8, 138 miles an hour. Step aside GW Golf. Step aside Shane Westerfield. Jeff Martin, 585.8, 138 miles an hour. Jeff Martin, your number 1 qualifier in Blown Gas Flat. Wow, what a run. That was a monster run, but see, I wasn't paying attention because of Joe Martin over here in the right-hand side. All kinds of crazy. Wow, that was insane.
Well, I'll tell you what, Flat Confused Joe Martin, it looks like when he came down, even his one hand came off the steering wheel, and man, I'm telling you, that was scary. Scary. You don't get much closer than that. He
could have put his arm down and grabbed a fish. Just that was crazy. Too close.
We make sure all the fish leave for all the drag boat races.
Top Alcohol Flats. Need you guys to the end ramp, please. Alcohol Flats to the end ramp. Alcohol Hydro, be on standby. Alcohol Flats to the end ramp.
Incoherent. Sam McLaughlin. Mark McLaughlin out here with us doing some shooting this weekend. Good to see Mark out with us. Signature Wealth Concepts, Nick Ricky Realtor, Menace Motorsports, California Fire Protection, and Backflow, along with Alexis Bros, helping them out. Sam McLaughlin, Incoherent.
How cool was that? 689.7, 118.77 miles an hour. I'm telling you, I love flat bottoms to death. Love them to death, but gosh, they just scare me.
Here you got Pro Comp Flats. Frank Carter, flat flying. Here you got your number 1 and 2 qualifiers. Frank Carter was looking for a 6:05, ran through with a 6:10, qualifying that number 2 spot. United Rentals, Magnum Trailers, Kemper's Transport, special thanks to Joey and Cassie Smith, Gumby Performance. Can't Get Right, Randy Cockrell. He coming out of that Generator Supercenter side of the racetrack, the Island Lane.
Frank Carter looking for 6 flat. He goes 5.99.1, missed it by 9,000. At 133 miles an hour. Randy Cockrell 726, 114 on that 7 flat. He will remain your number 1 qualifier with a 7:05 from earlier. Frank Carter still second with a 6:10 from earlier. So sped it up, but sped it up just a little bit too much.
Yeah, Can't Get Right. Randy Cockrell, whatever adjustments he made were definitely in the wrong direction. But, hey, he's got another couple shots. Colton, as you mentioned, by tomorrow's last qualifying session, no telling what we're going to see in a lot of these different categories as far as qualifying goes. Thank all you folks from Racer H2O watching from all over the world. You know, got a text from a friend of mine in
I hear we're really
New
big in
Zealand.
Zimbabwe.
New Zealand. A friend of mine's watching, so it's cool. He was saying, can you change the time a little bit? He didn't want to get up so early. But I was like, no, I don't think so. We don't race under the lights, you know? So how many people you know in Zimbabwe?
I don't know any of
What,
them,
were
but
you
Racer
down-
H2O does.
Oh, come on, Colton. I bet you were down there diamond mining.
If I was down there diamond mining, I promise you I wouldn't be here.
You'd be getting yourself one of those flat bottoms. I
I'd
hear
be
you
in a
talking to your
flat
friends
bottom,
here.
exactly.
Yeah. Which way you move the pedal?
Down.
Okay. It's only Monday, honey. Randy Reynolds out of the right lane. That's the Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel Machine. Under the Influence, West Glen, out of Norco, California. The Lake Management Incorporated, Gross Racing Engines, Howard Motorsports, Fantasy Rigging, and Curtis and Bog and Sprinkler. And looking for a 660, runs it through at a 6.499. So he'll stay in that, running a 66 earlier, stay in that number 3 spot, the Randy Reynolds. It's only Monday, and under the Influence, West Glen. And he wanted to give a shout out to Craig, Steve, Sean, and family running it through with a 741. He was looking for that 650 number.
So I know that's going to be David Merchant over here on the right side. Driving a flat wicked. And I believe that's Paul Bauer. Yeah, Paul Bauer, Angry Black over there in the Generator Supercenter, left side of Discovery Bay, California. For D21 Enterprises, Gross Racing Engines, Mad Dog Racing, Bob and Tanma McKenna. Thanks to the crew, Phil, Melissa, and Dave. He's looking for 635. He has been 629 for the number 5 qualifying spot. And David Merchant out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, driving flat wicked in the Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel right-hand lane. Special thanks to Bruce Bobby Wicker of Electro Freeze, George GW, and his beautiful wife, No. He is looking for 686. Paul Bauer out of the throttle early. David Merchant 690 with a 2 at 125 miles an hour. And how about a new number 1 qualifier taking it over from Randy Cockrell? Paul Bauer 699.4 at only 84 miles an hour. He'll be number 5. But David Merchant, Flat Wicked, takes over another number 1 qualifying spot in Pro Comp Flats. And that'll bring us to Pro Outlaw.
Mayhem Machine, owned by Todd McEnally and Harley Retson doing the driving. Sponsored by Dement Landscaping, Money Gone Racing, Concept Powder, Roy's Cyclery, Van PDS, and DJ Safety. So Harley Retson ran a 5:37 earlier, qualifying the number 3 spot. He looking here to run a 5:20. Pro Outlaws. Wild thing. Rick Blethroad. He your number 6 qualifier. Didn't really get down the racetrack. Sponsored by Alliance Machine, AAA RV, Lone Star Gasket, Full Throttle Racing Collectibles. Wild thing. Blethroad, Harley Retson, Mayhem.
Oh, that Rick Blethroad machine it's wild. That's that twin turbocharged 521 cubic inches of Hemi. And I believe that's a bunch of Alan Johnson stuff. That's a bunch of AJPE stuff in Rick Blethroad's boat with a couple of twin turbos. And this thing is bad to the bone. I was really, really expecting it to make a really good pass in the first round. But things just happened. And I wasn't able to find out what exactly happened to Rick. But definitely didn't feel right. Stepped off the throttle, which was probably the right decision. So Harley Retson, right side with that 537, stayed number 1 for a pretty good bit. Got knocked down a couple of positions. Rick Blethroad currently 6th out of 13 Pro Outlaw boats on property. All right, close the capsules. Watch Rick Blethroad build to boost up. Something's still not right. 542, 143.62 miles an hour for Harley Retson. Still not getting down the racetrack for Rick Blethroad. I don't know what is going on, and I'm sure Rick doesn't. It's got to be puzzling to him, because if it wasn't and he knew what was going on, he would have fixed it before this qualifying session. So when it does that, that shows you that Rick, something has just really got him wondering. Tough break. Harley Retson, another nice, clean A to B pass. 542 out of the throttle at 143 miles an hour. So that Wildfire machine, the Generator Super Center left side out of Climate Springs, Missouri, is where the team comes from. But Justin Smith is behind the wheel. The Wildfire Pro Outlaw boat right now. Of course, Robert Lees made an attempt in it a while ago, and it didn't go very well. Didn't even get off the hold rope, so there's no time recorded for Robert Lees' boat. So Justin Smith going to try his hand at putting a 520 on the scoreboard. Craig Collette, Rapid Package, the name of the boat, Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel. Right-hand lane, special thanks to Bob Snake Toll, Spencer, Dan, the safety and rescue, and ramp personnel. Craig says he's glad to be a part of this historic event. We're glad that he's a part of it. He went 5:29.9 for the number 2 spot in the opening session of qualifying. Current number 1 qualifier, 5:27.5. That's Jason Mulligan. Craig, 5:42, 141. Robert Lees' boat is fixed, 5:17.7, 174 miles an hour for Justin Smith. And Robert Lees, Wildfire, is off on it again. That's the number 8 qualifying position right now at 5:17. Missed it by about 23 thousandths of a second for being a perfect 5:21 run. Craig Collette, 5:42, 141. Not going to improve on the 5:29 from earlier, so he will stay in the number 2 qualifying spot. That's what I wanted to see, just 2 good side-by-side, straight down the lake. Craig Collette, Justin Smith, 2 really good runs right there. This is going to take us a second to get our next 2. That's Rick Beretta over there. Don't know if he's going to be by himself or not. He didn't make a pass in the first session of qualifying either. Out of Santa Rosa, California. Another Brad Anderson Enterprises Hemi. For Dave Sharp of Tucson, Dave Dotson, Bob, Steve Gropel, Chris Peterson, and Ed Burkett. Currently 14th.
Dave Sharp prepared Brad Anderson Hemi.
Well, Rick Beretta driving a California Quake. He'll be over there in that Generator Super Center left side, trying to get a good representative number up on the board. He doesn't have any at all. So anything right now is better than nothing.
SDBA champion out here trying to qualify at the SDBA sanctioned event.
That's definitely better. How about 5:21.9, 160 miles an hour for Rick Beretta. He'll be your new number one qualifier. Move over, Jason Milliken. Rick Beretta, 5:21.9, 160.72 miles an hour, and that's what he needed. Right there, number one qualifier for Rick Beretta.
The only problem with that is he's going to have to buy a new helmet because he's not going to be able to get the helmet on when he reaches his time slip.
All right, listen up at the pits. Final call for top alcohol flats. Final call, top alcohol flats. I need top alcohol hydro. Top alcohol hydro to the in-ramp, please. Alcohol hydro to the in-ramp.
You know, we got another boat coming out of the right lane, the Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel Machine, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Gus Ward, he's another one of the boats. Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if you remember if you were out here earlier.
It was like a plague.
Oh, my God. You know, a lot of the pro outlaws had some trouble getting down the racetrack. But Dave Sharp gives us the thumbs up. The tuner, of course, on that Beretta machine that just ripped off that great 521 with a 9 to take over the number one spot. But not sure exactly what happened to the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot machine to Gus Ward. Gus and Teresa Ward have been flip-flopping back and forth, driving that machine all year long. And Teresa does a great job, and she was up here talking with us. They, of course, out of Sonora, Texas. It's a MPH hull. Brad Anderson power plant. Beautiful, beautiful paint job in this machine. And I'll tell you what, when you get an opportunity to look at this machine in the pit area, you got to look at the interior. It's got a beautiful, beautiful seat compartment. You have to check the hide on that machine. So Bad Influence, Cody Childress going to be alongside. Childress actually ripped off a 537 with a 9 earlier today from Burleson, Texas. This is the Nelsonone Racing, Travis Tuttle, Brad Anderson Enterprises, Lenco Transmissions, RBS Superchargers. Special thanks to Travis Tuttle, Mama Judy, Robin Reed, Dustin Nelson, and his beautiful wife, Kendra, and boys Bentley, Braxton, and Brady out of Nemo, Texas. So Bad Influence, Cody Childress, and Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, Gus Ward. These are the Pro Outlaws. They are the machines looking to run 5.20. And the machines come to life on the holding row. 20 seconds away from the countdown to begin. They pick their number. After they pull down the capsule lids, kick them in gear. Hope to hit that starting line right when the tree goes green. Pro Outlaws, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, right lane, Gus Ward, Cody Childress, Bad Influence to the left.
Cody Childress, how about 5:06.9, 177 miles an hour for Cody Childress. 5:06, 177, and that is way, way faster than the index. Way, yeah.
Boy, you know, looking at the Rooster Tails, he was going down the racetrack, too. You've seen it.
Well, like a Top Fuel Hydro going down there with that Rooster Tail.
He was wiggling on him. So it's still ripping off that 5:06.9.
We need Gus Ward's trailer back to the in-ramp, please. Gus Ward's trailer back to the in-ramp, please. All right, so everybody on Racer H2O, when we get Gus Ward off the racing surface, enjoy these words from some of our sponsors for Racer H2O.
Don't care what they say. I've been working too hard lately. Feel like I'm going crazy. I need some time in the surface. And I say on and on. 'Cause there you go again, my baby. Your eyes illuminate me. Just wanna be by your side. Take me away. Want to go somewhere special. Far from this place. Don't let me down, down. Hard to think straight. When you look like an angel, my sweet escape. Don't let me down, down.
RacerH2O.com is the place to go to find easy-to-use links to our social media. Watch, read, listen to, and enjoy our content on demand for free on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and RacerH2O.com.
Hey, I want to welcome everybody back from RacersH2O.com. We're going to have in the right lane Team Fisher, Chris Bean out of Temple, Texas. This is the Texas Outrigger, Brad Anderson Power Plant, 540 cubic inches. Gisher Company, VS Gold Bureau, Wall Construction, CBB Properties. Real bad boy, Eric Dement, left lane. He's your number 11 qualifier. He went too quick. Liz and United Rental, JL Gray Construction, Lilly Construction, Great Western Corporation, Parker Brothers Roofing, Performance HVAC. Crew is Perch, Victor, Gary, Gray, and Anita, Brandon, Kaysen, Logan. So the Perch will be looking on. Real bad boy, Eric Dement left. Team Fisher, Chris Bean right.
Let's look at the elapsed time. It's 5:26.9, 166 miles an hour for Eric Dement. They got the thing slowed down and he went to the number 2 spot. Chris Bean, 5:07.3, 181 miles an hour. That's way too quick for the 520 index. He will stay in the number 12 spot, 5:07, 181 booming mile per hour.
Good news, bad news. When he finds out how fast he went, he's going to have to say.
Good news is it's fast. But bad news is
she sure felt good. It was pulling all the way down the racetrack. 5:07, 181.45 a mile an hour. Well, you know, at the rate he's going, that he's not going to be able to slow it down enough with 2 more. Hey, don't forget they're going to have that racer reunion right behind us, and that's going to be at 5 o'clock. So something you will want to attend. It's about an hour and 2 minutes away. Right behind us here we are located in the starting line area. Nobody's really brought any stuff that they found. Some people have came up and indicated that they lost some items. Now, if they have taken them somewhere else, please let us know, because a lot of people have came here. They had misplaced a couple of items, so we're trying to get them back to the rightful owners, no matter what it might be, a driver's license, a wallet. Candy, cookies. We'll keep an eye on everything. Look at this package of cookies somebody turned in here. Actually, somebody brought those up for you, Colton.
I know, because people like me.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm nice.
He's even got chocolate on his microphone, so you can tell he's been eating them. Look at this. I hope that's... I was hoping it was chocolate. I hope it wasn't what you thought it might be. But, okay. I hope that didn't go out over the world. Oh, gosh. Compliments of Racers H2O. Oh, gosh.
We're having fun.
Continuing on with our Pro Outlaw, we got the new sense. Brandon Davis coming out of the right lane. The Bitzel, Hull, 540 cubic inch Keith Black Hemi. Davis Trucking, BDS Blower, CP Carrillo, DNE Motorsports. Special thanks to Mom and Dad, Frank, Dave, and a huge thank you to his wife and daughter. So the machine in the left lane, Dave Wallingford. The Rob Steele Raceboat Factory, Keystone Contracting, Classic Meat Company, Isolair, O'Brien Electric, Sheffield Marine, Fine Line Concrete, Boring Petroleum, Garage in Vancouver, Washington, and R.S. Davis Recycling. Rob and Cam Steele on the crew of the Wallingford machine. The Extra Test Coal machine, I believe. New sense, Brandon Davis. In that extreme racing oil and fuel side of the racetrack. Here you have your number 7 and 11 qualifiers. It's really 11 and 7, but 7 and 11 sounded better. Isn't it? We're on Indian land, and they got a casino right on our property. All we got to do is sneak across the street, right? Sports books are legal. Who you taking for Sunday's activities? Let's see how these guys qualify. New sense, Brandon Davis. Wallingford, left lane.
And the scoreboard says, how about 5:15 with an 8? 165 miles an hour for Dave. Brandon Davis goes 5:27.5, 168 miles an hour, and he will be your number 4 qualifier. Dave Wallingford still going to stay number 11. 3 position improvement for Brandon Davis, but no position improvement for Dave Wallingford. as he goes too quick, 5:15 for the second time in a row. He goes too quick on the index. He was able to scrub off 5 miles per hour from his first run, but not enough elapsed time to get him above that 5:20 index. And you were talking about, who are you going to bet on the books? I learned a long time ago, you do not bet on drag racing. No matter if it's on land, water, it doesn't matter. You don't bet on drag race because anything can happen. As we get our next boats pulled into place, I believe that's going to be our former number 1 qualifier, Jason Mulliken, coming up in the near side. Is that Terry Kane? No?
I want to remind all you fans out there what we're doing right now. We're running our Pro Outlaw category, the 520 index. We're going to move into our Pro Modified and then Alcohol Flat Bottoms, and then Alcohol Hydro will round out this day 1 of qualifying at the Drag Boat Nationals here at Firebird Lake, Wild Horse Pass Raceway at the Drag Boat Nationals. Still got a lot of racing yet to go. We start our qualifying session with the slower machines and work up to the quickest. So Pro Outlaws, of course, looking to run that 520 number.
So Terry Kane and Jason Mulliken. Terry will be over in that Generator Super Center left-hand lane, driving Racing Kane out of Los Alamos, New Mexico. And Jason Mulliken, the embezzler, over here in the Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel right-hand side. He was your number 1 qualifier. Now he's been bumped down to 3. Terry Kane is 8th with a 5:45. Needs to improve by a couple tenths of a second. He wants the number 1 qualifying spot. Got to do better than 5:21.9. Let's look at the numbers. Terry Kane, 666 at only 92 miles an hour. I thought I heard a pop. Jason Mulliken, 525, 352 miles an hour. Seems like he was out of the throttle prematurely as well. He will go up 1 more position, leapfrog over Eric DeMin into the number 2 spot. Not going to take over the number 1 spot from Rick Beretta. I do believe that that's going to be his after the first day of qualifying here at the Drag Boat Nationals. But Terry Kane, definitely a pop around the 8th mile. The yellow buoys out there, and only mustered a 6.667 at 92 miles an hour. But how about that 003 reaction time for Terry Kane?
Yeah, it looked like he was having troubles right about the 600-foot mark. It's really hard to check out the boats on the left side of the racetrack when you got that monster rooster tail coming out of the machine in the near lane, but you could definitely hear the sound as the Terry Kane Racing Kane machine was having some problems.
Thank God that Racer H2O was here, because the people at home get the perfect vantage point all the way down the racetrack, because these guys are bad to the bone.
Bad, bad.
Band. All right, so we will go to Pro Modified, and our first 2 up going to be Kevin Helm in the left side. and Sean Reed over here in the near lane. Kevin Helm out of Moore, Oklahoma, driving the Woody. And the Generator Super Center, left-hand side for Parker Brothers Roofing, Hunsucker Legal Group, Performance HVAC, RB Props, ID Solutions, Mr. Paint, Liberty Homes, Dan and Robin at Superior Fiberglass, Carrie and the Key Team at Providence Realty, current number 3 qualifier at 581.6, and Sean Reed driving Top Secret out of Puyallup, Washington. Went 557.2. That was a breakout, so it sent him all the way down to number 7 in qualifying. But Sean Reed just needs one shot at the racetrack, and then when he comes back the next time, you better watch out.
He's one of the best levers in the biz. Had an 011 light in his first qualifying effort that put down that 557 at 159. So Sean Reed, many championships to his credit. And it sounds like he wants to get back full-time into drag boat racing. That's a great thing to see, no doubt about it.
So Kevin Helm looking for improvement. Sean Reed looking to step back the performance by just a few hundredths of a second. And the numbers come in. Kevin Helm, how about 565.6, 154.96 mile an hour. Kevin Helm goes to number 2. And Sean Reed, another breakout, 557.5 at 165 miles an hour. Kevin Helm, a big improvement right there. Sean Reed not being able to slow the boat down. It went 557.2, slowed it down by 0.03 of a second, 565.5 here in the second qualifying session. A nice run for Kevin Helm. And a nice run for Sean Reed, just a little bit too quick.
Run out of laps.
Yeah,
Slowing
right.
down at that rate, 3,000ths a run.
Yeah.
But, it's one thing, too, if when it gets down to eliminations, you want to keep an eye on your competition, but in a capsule boat, it's not like you're looking around.
That's where those spotters really come into play. So having somebody on the bank to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do, trusting that person to make the right decision, that is a huge, huge deal in capsule boat index racing like what we're doing in Pro Outlaw and Pro Modified. And these guys, especially the Pro Mod spotters, best in the world. I mean, it's truly, truly awesome because the competition so close in Pro Mod.
It'd be interesting to know what the key words are because it's not like you're, hey, I think you're out. It's over.
Yeah, exactly.
But, slow, fast, some trigger with the two-way communications.
It's definitely it's a type of language that only the spotter and the driver. Hey, congratulations.
I think they're going for the Guinness Book of World Records with they got a 62-foot one of those block. They take the wooden blocks and build it up there. They were at 62 feet earlier.
Is that what it is, Jenga?
Jenga?
Are you guys so bored that y'all had to play Jenga?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we didn't have Jenga. We just had dirt.
Dig a hole.
And we loved it.
Yeah. Dig a hole. They do that at Houston. You ever go out there in the motorhome area where they dig a hole?
There ain't no telling what all goes on in the motor.
Oh my God!
In the motor corral at Houston. Yeah, they used to have a big hole that had dirt. It was the dirt track at Houston. There's a funny story. Doug Coletta and Ron Capps one Friday night after qualifying was over at Houston. They go over to watch the dirt track racing, and some people noticed them and said, "Hey, you want to drive my car?" And Doug Coletta was a USAC Sprint Car champion. Ron Capps had won the Chili Bowl a couple of times, so they were like, "Sure, why not?" They go over and get their fire suits and go over there and race. And I can't remember if it was Doug or Ron, but one of them won the race that night. in the dirt car. I mean, just talent. When you talk about talent, that's the thing, especially in this world of drag racing. Doesn't matter if it's land or water. So Robin Reed and Gary Bauer going to be your next two pro mods up. Robin Reed, the Generator Supercenter left-hand side at Arlington, Texas, driving wound too tight. Current number 3 qualifier at 566.1. Two Guys Marine at Del Rio, Texas. The Texas Outrigger Boat, CCR Fiberglass and Marine, NGK Spark Plugs, Fun and Sun Boats and Tackle, Trinity Racing Ministries. And Gary Bauer driving Blackjack, the Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel, right-hand lane out of Grass Valley, California. For Gary, and Gary, the 3 Garys. Kevin Fennell, Mad Dog Racing, Mark Bauer, Paul Bauer, Brenda Cole, Kevin Fennell, Katie Patters. Did not make it down the racetrack in the first session of qualifying, currently sitting 10th best on the sheet. Current number 1 qualifier, Shelby Everett Springer at 564.1. Couple of good runs. Robin Reed breaks it out, 553.1, 160 miles an hour. Gary Bauer, 591.9 at 156.74. That'll bring him up to the number 4 qualifying spot. And Robin Reed will stay third for the 566 from earlier. Stepping it up just a little bit too much, 553.1, 160 miles an hour. And I don't know if Debbie Reed, his mother, is here this weekend or if she's watching alone on Racer H2O. But hello, Miss Debbie. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. And if you're here, you got to come see me. You know that. We are having an absolute blast. Once again, on behalf of the Southern Drag Boat Association, thank you to Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park, the entire staff here for helping us put this thing together. They were very instrumental in wanting to do this, putting all the logistics together in order for us to be able to pull this off. We couldn't have done it, obviously, couldn't have done it without them. So thank you guys here at Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. Because of them, we are here making history. The first time the Southern Drag Boat Association has come to Chandler, Arizona, and put on a show like this. So really, really special for us.
Out of reach, Daryl Ehrlich, the Doug Mater machine. Out of Round Rock, Texas. Special thanks to Daryl's Equipment, Daryl and Angie, Chris, Randall, Yvonne, Angela, Mac, George's Bar and Grill. Special thanks to Perch for his timely help. Always support, right? Top Gun, Mickey Snyder, and the Rio Medina Truck and Auto, Rio Fab and Welding, Lily Construction, Custom Powder Coating, 4-Way Bar, Medina Lake, Lake Hills, Texas, Damon Decker 212 Athletics, Jeff Gibson Insurance, Racers Insuring Racers, and Guild Mortgage, Reagan and Angie Everett, Randy Tees, and R&S Construction, all helping out the Top Gun, Mickey Snyder. Mickey Snyder earlier today, this is the 560 Pro Modified class, ran a 613. Daryl Ehrlich, he ripped off a 556.0 to go into the number 9 spot. So he's just got to slow it down about 400. He's going to be right there. Keep in mind right now, Shelby Ebert is the number 1 qualifier. So Shelby Ebert Springer can't touch this, sitting in that number 1 spot with that 564.1, and then you got Kevin Helm, Robert Reed, but Daryl Ehrlich just wants to slow it down 400 and jump right into the thick of things here. Very capable of doing so, as is the Top Gun, Mickey Snyder.
So as we were saying earlier, Pawpaw Doug Mater winning the championship in his 50th year of drag boat racing. They're really wanting to win here at Firebird Lake. Daryl and Angie will be getting married tonight right after the drivers meeting for all that want to attend over there at the in-ramp. So I was told to let you guys know if you guys want to come join them and joining together after the drivers meeting tonight at the in-ramp. Angie and Daryl Mad Max Ehrlich will be getting married. So very exciting times in the life of Daryl Ehrlich right now, winning the championship. And Papa Doug Mader, I know that man is so excited about what's going on. In 50 years of drag boat racing, he wins another championship. The man just doesn't stop. 80 years young and still out there going and doing it at the highest professional level out there.
And I believe he has a current license, so he could just jump in one right now. Is that not true?
All right, so as soon as we get a green light on the course, Mad Max and Mickey Snyder. Mickey, they've kind of been fighting that thing. Every once in a while, they'll go out there and they'll make a really, really good run, and Mickey will get really excited, and then they try to, tweak it just a little bit if they need to slow it down or need to speed it up just a little bit, and then everything seems to fall apart for Mickey Snyder. But if there's one thing that team can do, because there's like 17,000 of them over there in the Snyder pits, and so somebody's going to figure out what needs to happen. I love them. I absolutely adore the Snyder family. Greatest people in the world.
Jeez,
And
with that many crew members, and they have to cook lunch,
Yeah, it's like a football team over there. The Snyders. So I'm excited to see after that 6:13 run, obviously not up to par with what they wanted, out of the throttle early. So it's going to be exciting to see what Mickey Snyder can throw together right here. Let's look at the numbers. Mickey Snyder, 620 with a 3 at 143. Mad Max, 579.9, 148 miles an hour. Not exactly what they wanted to do, but they got to slow it down, move up a couple positions in qualifying. 579, 148 for Mad Max. Mickey Snyder, 620 with a 3 at 143. They will stay number 7.
So here we got the Hydro Commando, Steve Walls from San Angelo, Texas. It's a Curtis Hull, Brodex 521 cubic inches. First year in Pro Mod, runner-up in Waco in 2021. Buddy E.S. Johnson helping out, Fastline Fabrication, Walls Tractor Repair, FPC SBCS, Jamie and Judy Sheffield, and Wayman Pitchford Incorporated, Schaefer Oils, William Pascal and Sons Fine Woodworking, Extreme Barbecue, and Joe Yarbrough. So Steve Walls ran a ran a 5.999. This is the Pro Mod category, looking to run 560. Can't touch this. This, ladies and gentlemen, Shelby Ebert Springer, your number 1 qualifier. This is a boat
The movie
owned
star.
by
The movie star, Shelby Everett Springer.
Todd and Jan Ebert. Can't touch this. Ran a 564 with a 0 out of the box earlier today to take out over that number 1 spot. Number 1 and number 6 qualifiers.
Look at Steve Walls, a nice pass for him, about 565.5, 159 miles an hour for Steve Walls. I'm surprised I don't hear the Walls team screaming from here. That was an amazing run. How about all the way up to number 2 in qualifying? Shelby Everett Springer, 555.7, 165 miles an hour. She will remain in the number 1 spot with only a couple people left to knock her back down. But Steve Walls, 565.5, 159 miles an hour, a beautiful run for Hydro Commando. And somewhere, the team's losing their mind. I promise. Mallory Carroll, I believe she's going to be our last Pro Mod. A little more therapy out of Burnett, Texas. The Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel, right-hand lane for WCR Construction. Electro Frieza, Texas. RESP, Trinity Racing Ministry. Special thanks to Gary Watson, her mom and dad, and Todd and Ella Haas. She went 5:39.5. Gary Watson had that thing really, really hyped up in the first session of qualifying. They wanted to come out of the box swinging, and they threw a left hook that would have knocked you to the floor. Mallory Carroll, they need to slow it down just a little bit. She's at number 10 right now with that breakout run. For the number 1 spot, 5:64.1 with more speed or better elapsed time. And then we'll go into top alcohol flats. All right, so the countdown clock is running. It's at 5 seconds. Mallory Carroll's boat has not fired. This is the second time that the countdown has started, and Mallory has not been able to fire the boat. All right, so Mallory Carroll is done. We need her trailer back to the in-ramp, please. Mallory Carroll's truck and trailer back to the in-ramp, please. Mallory having issues. So that will do it for Pro Modified for today. They still have 2 more chances of qualifying tomorrow. And it's time for Top Alcohol Flats, my favorites.
So Mallory Carroll standing up on her boat. She'll wait for one of the tow skis to come over and grab her and slide her out of the way as we get ready to go into our alcohol flat. This is interesting because we're going into our top alcohol flats, and the machine that we're going to see coming out of that left lane is Donnie LeBon in a blown fuel jet, but it's allowed to run in the alcohol flat category. What's interesting here is Donnie LeBon, and I believe that Donnie LeBon has not driven this boat since, let me see, 16, 26, 36, 37 years or so. No, I don't know, 86, so that would be a long time ago. Donnie LeBon has been in the driver's seat, and unfortunately he came out and wanted to make a run earlier and had a problem with one of the mags, so Donnie LeBon, Hydrophobia will be in that left lane. Hydrophobia, sponsored by Pleasure Boat Specialties, American Turbine, CP Pistons, Jim Pachota Racing, Dangerous Pursuit Racing, Ruva Cabo Paving, Oxidine Marine. Glenn Schuler is the crew chief. Crew is Carol Schuler, Justin Gore, Tim Eagle, Bob Fry, Jolene Jensen, and Kim Wenge. Party to the Max, Bill Miller. Max Davis standing down here in the starting line area, watching on out of Montgomery, Texas. Linda, I'm sure, listening in on the Racer HT2O, if she's not on FaceTime with Max. And a 3-time SDBA High Point champion, Max Heavy Haul, More Trucking, Elite Products, Rapid Photos, Texas Automotive Equipment, Robin Banks, CP Carrillo, The Blower Shop, Monty's Compressors, Gumby Performance, Terry Moore is the crew chief, Joe Davis, Dwayne Gilbert, Mark the Wire God. So party to the max. Bill Miller is going to be in that extreme racing oil and fuel side of the racetrack, while the far lane will feature Hydrophobia, Donnie LeBon. Forget we got the Racer reunion that's going to be happening right behind us down here in the starting line area. It's about 30 minutes away. So again, we're in the last couple of categories to round out this day 1 of qualifying at the Drag Boat Nationals here at Wild Horse Pass Raceway. What happened, Bill Glisson? He's got it. Man, you really wound it up there, trying to snatch that number 1 spot back. But I liked it. I liked it. So the alcohol flat bottom category.
All right, here we go. Those magic words, go yellow. And the sweet sound of top alcohol flat bottoms. The jet boat of Donnie LeBon, left side, and the legend, Max Davis, sitting over here twiddling his thumbs biting his fingernails off, hoping to take that number 1 qualifying spot with Bill Miller behind the wheel. Went 573 earlier. Can he improve? Number 1 qualifier. Setting up Tony Scarlatta. What a driving job, Bill Miller. Wow. 667 at 105 miles an hour for Bill Miller, but he drove that thing. 6056, 138 miles an hour for Donnie LeBon. And Max Davis shakes his head and goes, Bill, you doggone God. Oh.
I'll tell you what, I think Max could have read his lips because he was looking right at him.
No, Max needed a beeper whenever that happened. He needed a bleeper. Bleep, 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 bleep. Wow, what a driver. Bill Miller, I'm telling you, the man doesn't give up for nothing. Hey, that brought out the sprint car driver in him right there. That's where sprint car driving, that's where it pays off in drag boat racing. Hey, if he didn't have to carry him around in a wheelbarrow like me, he would have got out of it like I would have. Oh, man, and this next two right here, David Geip and Tony Scarlatta are the next two up. Tony driving Shazam, of course, for Matt Brown. Matt Brown Trucking, Jet Performance Marine, Electro Freeze. Special thanks to the entire crew. The Extreme Racing Oil and Fuel, right-hand side. He's the current number 1 qualifier at 5:30 with a 5, and he was way out of the throttle early. And David Geip, the boat called Battleborn. DC Plumbing, Patterson Racing Engines, Jet Set Luxury Brokers, Advanced Precision Machine, Great Basin Water Supply, River Concrete, Mad Mike's Nitro Rub, Menace Motorsports, Altizer's Powder Coating, Calibrated Concrete. Special thanks to the sister and brother-in-law, Jason Spicer, Geip, Mike Patterson, Tony Scarlatta, Sandra Scarlatta, Mike Thompson, Gary Morrill, and the wives, Angela and Michelle Geip, for the support, and of course the kiddos. Special thanks to Precision Craft Marine and Joe Shelfo. He went 6:05 with a 1, did David Geip in the opening session of qualifying. Let's see what they got now. Let's look at the numbers. 5:37.5. 135 miles an hour for Tony Scarlatta. David Geip, a really, really nice run for David. 5:62.4, 159.63 miles an hour for David Geip, and he will go to the number 3 qualifying spot, knocking Greg Jones down to 4th. Jeff Stewart still number 2. Tony Scarlatta number 1. Didn't improve on the 5:30 from earlier, but still a nice backup to that run, 5:37.5. At only 135 miles an hour. But you could see whenever it got almost to 660 feet, the boat started doing that wave, what they call the top alcohol flat wave in the air down there, and that'll deter you really quick from staying in the throttle, or at least it would me. As soon as I felt a freaking wave go up underneath that boat, I'd be out of it, because them things right there, you don't mess with top alcohol flats. But still, the greatest class in drag boat racing, period. But still, two really, really nice side-by-side runs for David Geip and Tony Scarlatta.
So it looks like the last alcohol flat in the category coming